Dun, 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 dun. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Authors Quill. We're going to drop a promo or two on y'all, and then we're going to head over for a little bit of music, and then we're going to be back with our guest, Seth, and my co-host, John, and we'll get to talking about all that wonderful stuff when we get back. And if you're on Facebook, I don't know, I just seen a bunch of red lights come up on Facebook, so I'm not sure what's going on in them, so I will refresh them while we're actually playing some breaks. So stay tuned, pay attention, and we'll be right back.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Adriana Fiestra, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered.
Hi, I'm Brittany Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms, Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it.
There is a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. She sold my new blue jeans. Well, my father was a gambling man. Well, down in New Orleans. Oh, mother, will tell your children not to do what I have done. Oh, spend your lives in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. Hey, spend your life in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun.
There you go. Stretch out your pipes a little bit. Wake yourself up. See what's going on in the world. That was Haley Reinhardt. That was actually at one of the award ceremonies. I think she won that one actually. I always liked "House of the Rising Sun." It's been a song that's been made over by God. I've lost count of how many artists it has been done by. So it's nice. I can play it on different times and play the same song and actually be listening to a different artist each time. Are you going to Hawaii or something, man? I know see you dressed for Hawaii before.
Western. I'm going Cowboyville.
Oh, you look like you go Hawaii to me, man.
All right.
Cowboyville. It's
okay, I'm going to Hawaii via Wyoming.
Cool.
It's sorry, starting somebody.
Well, is that one of those famous authors I see on the screen with us? Is that Seth Atwater?
I think it is. It is. It's another one of these famous guys that come hang out with us on Saturdays.
I know. Mr. Birthday Boy himself.
Yeah.
I know what he's like 18 now or something. It's
well, maybe 25, but
that's close, man. That's close.
Yeah.
It's what's that, Janine? No, he's one of the winners from Writers of the Future. Yes, he's one of the authors who won at Writers of the Future.
Yeah, in this book. Yes,
in that book, the one that should be right there. Right there. There's mine. It's always right there. This is a copy that I will give away this year. It's not my signed copy. It's a signed copy. There's another copy, but I'm going to give this one away. So it's got Seth's signatures in there. I mean, I have another copy that's for myself personally. It's got a lot more stuff in it, but
that's the illustration of his story.
That's right there that we can actually show now.
Exactly, World of Repetitions.
Well, Christopher John and I had to go 2 months without actually showing any pictures.
Yeah,
because some woman he knows threatened our lives. We're not going to mention her name, Emily, and because she came on with us one night, and I was like, "Let me show you." I will hurt you. It's but anyway, we can show them now so y'all can see it. The book is available now. You can actually go buy the book now. You can get it.
Yeah, when it released, it's still on the bestseller list. It's been released on 22nd, and today is the 26th. So
when I seen it yesterday, it was still on the bestseller.
It was number 1 on ebook, and it was so far it's got to number 2, I think, on the paperback, and it was on the bestseller list for the audiobook. It's doing really well. It's been 4 days, 5 days.
You can get it on the audiobook. So, and there is some clips of a radio show they did at the thing this year. It's only a couple of minutes because I can't record the whole thing, but Tim Lescalin's in it, and he's the one who did the audiobook. So if you want to get an idea who the guy is, because y'all can't hear Mission Earth yet either, so I guess you can go listen to last year's book. But if you want to there's a couple of clips, you can find them on my Facebook Reels, and you can go in and listen, give you an idea who is doing the stories in the book. He does an excellent job. His daughter does an excellent job. If I was y'all, I'd get the audiobook if you're like me and you don't have time to read. Unfortunately, my time to read it's getting shorter. Even though I'm retired now, if somehow or another it's still getting short, I'm not quite figured that out now. But yes, Jimmy, I officially retired from construction this year. Yes, a couple of months ago. So I can just dedicate my time to harassing people on reading. I've
been listening to the audiobook too. It's really impressive.
It is. It is
really cool to hear all of everybody's stories actually voiced, and
he does. I mean, they do great jobs with voices and stuff.
Sure,
I mean, if you ever get to listen to Mission Earth, it will crack you up. I mean, he plays the bad guy for 7, 8 books, 7. I don't know, somewhere up in there, 7 and 7. But it's hilariously funny the whole time. He makes a really good bad guy. I mean, everybody in there, all the characters were good characters. I mean, for everybody he played and everybody else that was in there, it was all good characters. A lot of fun to listen to. I was actually thinking about it the other night because I finally finished it, and I need to write John a review. It's a really good book, and I mean, it takes time. I mean, it's not like you can just. I mean, you can listen to it in a week if you want to sit there and just listen straight through it. And we do, it does get played. So it's, no, it doesn't. Battlefield Earth gets played. Sorry. And along with, War of the Worlds also gets played. We play them every holiday. So you can actually listen to it entirely. So Battlefield Earth is great. I mean, people listen to it. We get a couple 100,000 people sitting there and listening. I don't know what they're doing. They might be cooking. They might be wrapping presents, but they're listening to the show while it's on, because we leave it run. I want to say 6 hours a day. We do it from like noon to 6 p.m. where people might be hanging out during the holidays. You know, it's like the week before Christmas, the week before New Year's, and then on New Year's, whatchamacallit plays, War of the Worlds plays. It's the real War of the Worlds, not the remakes. This is the original broadcast with all of its commercials and all of its yeah.
Oh, okay.
The whole entire thing. So you get to hear it from there. Yeah. So you get to hear it from their perspective. And when you listen to it from their perspective, you could see why, especially back then, that there might have been a little panic going on.
Mm-hmm.
See, today, if that was going on and everybody was blasting on the internet, there would be another panic. But it's fun to listen to. So I encourage people to go out and get the audiobooks. I personally enjoy them. But I mean, if you have time to read, you know, like the boss lady, she likes the tactile sensation of a book. If I bring her home, matter of fact, I've had hundreds of ebooks sent to me over the years. She said, I'm not reading that. I said, well, I'll put it on my pad for you. I said, I'll put it on your pad and I'll give it the flip sensation. You know how you got to flip the page on the pad?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, but you don't have to wear your glasses on the pad. You can make it to the size letters you want. Nope. She'd better be wearing her damn glasses. She wants that book in her hand. So, you know, she reads these like, so when John sent me the reader's copy, which I have somewhere, I haven't given it away yet. I set it down and went off and did something. 2 hours later, 3 hours later, I come back. She's done read the whole damn book.
Wow.
And she's like, well, I like this story. And I said, well, let me read the book before you start telling me. She said, but you'll be a week before you finish. I said, probably. And because I read in between stuff. And it's, but say if John sent me the audiobook, I would just sit there and listen to it all at one time. But you know what?
I sent it to you.
Huh? No, I didn't get it.
Huh. Okay. I'll find out what happened.
Okay. So, but anyway, I mean, it's really nice. All of it's really nice. And when the first copy he sent me is not the same as this copy, the stories aren't in the same order or something.
Are they not?
Or they're not in their original order, whatever they're going to be in. Because I noticed when I'm reading through here that it's a much more, it's a flow. It's a better flow, I guess is what I'm saying. Whoever arranges the stories does a really good job. Who does that anyway?
Maliva and Jody.
I knew Maliva's name was going to come up. I knew it. Is there nothing this girl don't do?
What's that?
I said, is there nothing she don't do? Jesus. So every time I ask somebody a question lately, I have to hear her name. And you know, I give her nothing but trouble when I'm there. Yeah. Even though she makes me look good on film, I have to give her credit for that.
Yeah.
And,
well, the last story in the book is Seth's story.
That's right.
Which is great, which is a great compliment to him, because normally when a person goes to pick out an anthology, they look at the first story, then they'll check out the second story, then they go to the last story. And so that's, you know, we look for strong stories, or very, you know, stories that will catch their attention. But Seth's story is a very interesting one because it's not a new trope, but he did a different take on it. You want to explain what you did with yours, how you did it? Because normally when you have the repetition stuff, it's only the one person that remembers and everybody else forgets, but you did a different take on it.
Sure, yeah. So I really enjoy sort of time loop, Groundhog Day type stories. There's a lot of them that I really like. So I wanted to do sort of a take on that, but the direction that my story takes that's a little bit different is that rather than the main character being the only one who remembers each time the loop happens, it's everyone in the world, which isn't something I had seen before, which is part of why I wanted to write it. It's instead of just this one guy being like, oh, everything's happening exactly the same as it was before, what's going on? It's everything. Everyone is remembering the repetitions. So people still act like they know what's happening, but time can't progress. And so they have to kind of learn to live in a world where whenever you create something, it's gone the next day.
Yeah. And you were able to like distill it down to like, which I really like about your story. It distills down to like, what's most important. You know, because, you know, you can get, it's interesting because, you know, everybody like gets into the loop of life, you know, it's like, okay, every day it's the same thing, but you're able to distill out of that or like pull out of it, like, what's really important, because you can have the same thing over and over again, but how do you make something special out of life? And that was what was really cool about your story for me.
Oh, thanks. That's one of the things I like about it too. So I'm glad to hear.
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't read the book, you don't know what we're talking about. Jimmy said, well, y'all are just geeking out. It's not fair. And well, right here, look, you see it. There it is.
Yeah,
that's
you
it. You can find it at galaxypress.com or Amazon or any other damn place that sells books.
Yeah, we're telling you about this thing to make you want to read it, not to tell you what the whole story is.
Yeah,
Jeez, that would be like, we'd do you a disservice if we told you the story because you miss out on all the fun.
Go have that now. All the stories are good. I've read, excuse me. I've read, I don't know, 12 or 14 of these books now. And so far I've enjoyed them all. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest fantasy fan in the world. I'm more of a sci-fi fan myself, but right. I do like fantasy. I'm not going to say I don't like it. It's just some of them are a little too much fantasy for me personally, but I still enjoy the stories. And and you're not going to ever, unless you're just some kind of geek, maybe like John or Seth, you might like every story, you see. I'm not quite as geeky as they are, so it's just a little bit shy of where they are, that's all. No, actually, it reads really well. Whoever puts them together, that's why I was asking John who does it. Yeah, stories they progress very well with each other, whether it's fantasy, sci-fi, or a little mix in between. And certain stories will just stick out in my head. Yours will stay out, or what's his name? Death of Postman, for some reason sticks out in my head. The girl with the monster living in her house, for some reason sticks out in my head. There's just stories I've read over the years with them that for some reason that particular story so something in that story, caught my attention, whatever it may be, because I've never taken the time to go back and analyze the story. Just if it stays in my head, then something in there, something I read caught my attention, something, maybe that I've talked about science-wise or geek-wise or something I just actually enjoyed for whatever reasons. It just stays in my head. I can't say all the stories do that, but there's just, there's one or two in each book that will just stay with me probably for life. They'll just be in the back of my head. So when I'm talking to people or when I'm at somewhere giving a lecture, I can use those stories as a base. Matter of fact, I actually keep one of these right here because I like the story so much, because he sent me a few of them. I actually keep one of these. So when I am lecturing, I can actually show the person the book and say, oh, you ought to go get it, because one of the stories was one of the winning stories, and that was converted into a novel. And it's, I bring it with me. And now I got one of Kevin J. Anderson's books I'm going to bring with me so I can use it as well. One of his X-Files books. And so stuff like that, it makes it easier when I'm talking to people. I usually always have the winning book with me too. I always bring one with me. The only problem to that is I usually bring the reader's copy, because I don't want these, when you start toting books around, they start getting damaged.
Yeah.
And anything with autographs, I don't want them to get damaged. And it's, when I throw them in the case with the laptops and everything, that reader's book looks pretty rough. I mean, it's been through hell wherever it's at. I can't find it right now, but it's around here somewhere, but it's been through hell. I mean, it's, right. I let the kids read it, other people have read it. I got other people's opinions on it besides my own. Because when I come to talk to y'all, I like to have, because I talk with John all the time, but I like to have an idea of what other people think besides myself when I'm interviewing y'all. It makes my life easier, actually. And then when I get to meet all y'all in person after we've done these interviews, it's even better, because now I know a little bit more about you. I know what other people think about your story, and I know what I think about it. And then we've done the interview, so I know what I think about you as a person. So it makes it way easier when I get to chat. And, people don't realize, though, because a lot of times when I'm there, I'm not always doing an interview, but I am doing an interview, because I always do recaps on all of these every time I go every year. Matter of fact, is it this week? I think it's next week. I'm going to have two of the hosts on me. I'm going to do a recap of just the time I spent there, all the people I met, who stood out the most. Like one year it was April and Nancy stood out above everybody, writers and illustrators, just hands above everybody, because they were just outright go-getters. The year before that, like Zach. I mean, there are people who just stand out that I really feel long-term are going to probably be in the movers and shakers. And since you look at things uniquely, it's one thing, let's be honest, because all three of us know this. Right now, Netflix and Hulu and Amazon suck, because none of the stories, thanks to COVID, there's nothing really new. Between COVID and the writer's strike, there's nothing really new. So when you see something that's actually new, something that hasn't been done, it's unique. Because usually, you know, I'll somebody, oh, you got to see this movie, and it's like 4 of one movie put together to make them. No, that sucks. I don't want to see that. You know, that's well, you know, I mean, you're younger than I, so you're seeing a lot of the new stuff coming out. And I mean, you know, unfortunately for me, I've been watching movies for 60 years, so there's a lot of stuff that's just repeat, and repeat. And it's even in these stories. Sometimes I'll be reading them, and I'll get a sense of, you know, they've watched this sci-fi, or they've read this fantasy, or they've played Dungeons and Dragons, or they were into one of the fantasy games sets.
Right.
So you just get a feel because of the way they're writing. So it's one of the things I enjoy, though. I really do. It's a lot of fun to read all y'all's work. It's a lot of fun to see the illustrators do their stuff. And
sure, yeah.
you know, I like watching the illustrators stress out. It's fun. You know, it's funny, but the illustrators tend to stress a little more when they, not this year. This was the best crowd, hands down, of any year I've worked with these guys, by far. I mean, this crowd was just, everybody was open. Everybody wanted to talk. No one felt withdrawn, which was really surprising. Even the shy ones were willing to talk.
Yeah, it was surprising to me too. I thought I would have been way more
no, I mean,
not putting myself out there. It's kind of transformative in that way.
It is. It really is. And I was really impressed with this group. I mean, but now, you know, it's nice because I get to see, in the first 4 years I went with them, we didn't do this the way we do it ahead of time now. The last 2 years we've been able to do it ahead of time. So y'all get to see each other. We get to see you. You get a sense of who you're going to be dealing with. And you already know John's a sweetheart, you know, because Emily will kick his ass if he's not. So, you know, it's what do you mean, Christopher? Who's Emily? We're always talking about Emily. Oh, Emily is the second boss. Yes. Shh. She thinks she's the first boss, but she's the second boss. Y'all gonna get me in trouble. Stop. I don't like messing with Emily. She's, you know, she's only this big, but she's mean as hell. It's no, actually, she is number 2 at Galaxy Press. She's John's wife, and she does all the gala stuff. She works her ass off every year when I see her, and she always tells me she's fat, and I'm thinking, you're not as big as my thigh is. You know, I really. I'm not going to laugh because she's going to punch me, but still, I'm like, oh, you know, you're this big. Matter of fact, one year I walked up behind, I said, I said, my thigh's bigger than your waist, girl. Stop losing weight. Oh no, they do a great job with the gala. I mean, everybody did good this year. Nobody, you know, everybody got on stage and did a good job. What are you talking about, Philip? Oh no, I'm more worried about the judges passing out than the winners. The winners got energy, man. They're like, whoo.
Yeah. We had a lot of fantastic acceptance speeches this year too.
Yes,
Yeah. So tell me about that. What was it like from your perspective? I know what mine is, but your perspective now of the gala, since that's it's a
big event.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
I mean, it was a really cool experience. Definitely the biggest event that I've been a part of before by a pretty long shot. You know, I think I expected to be more nervous going into it than I was, but you know, over the week of doing workshops with everyone and getting to know all of the other writers and the illustrators to a point, and I think the fact that we were all there, kind of supporting each other and celebrating each other's success, made it way easier. Like I could go up on stage and say, thanks to all of these people, because like it's sincere, right? It's like they really, like everyone at Galaxy Press and all of the other writers and my family and everybody, really such a big support and help to me that like, why would I need to be nervous about saying that? So it ended up being a very cool experience.
Yeah. So it was, I mean, you had the tuxedo. Have you worn a tuxedo before?
I have not.
Good, yes.
I've definitely worn a like a regular suit coat, so it wasn't like way too foreign, but you know, definitely a new experience there too. Very
were your parents there with
fancy.
you?
They were watching from home. They messaged me after the show about how much they liked it. So
Oh, good.
There was a lot of people watching, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
How many
all of
was
the
it?
Jesus.
Well, you gave me the thing like the video watching was about between 3 and 400,000 in total. On the radio broadcast was about 1.3 million, and then with the 2 subsequent broadcasts, it's over 7 million.
Yeah, so
over 7.
So we broadcasted it 3 different times. Well, one of the times it replaced this show. So the Saturday that after the gala, 2 days later, it was on this show because John and I were off, and because I already knew I was going to be traveling and John was going to be working, and so it was off. It did really well. It was very surprising as well as it did, and then it also played on Sunday, which it did very well on Sunday. So, I mean, this is by far the biggest group we've ever had. Usually it finishes out around 2 million or something. This was an easy 7 million. I think it was probably close to 1 million in viewers between all 3 and at least 7 million plus in audio listeners. And we prefer the viewers because they stay longer when they're watching because they get to see y'all. The people who are listening, they go back and forth. You can see them coming and going, popping in and out, I guess, looking for whoever maybe on it, or if they know somebody who's there or something. A lot of times that's what they're doing. But it was a lot of people listened. That's why we don't never tell people when they're live. Oh no, this only covered. Somebody asked me one time, we were doing a stage event, and the guy said, "How many people are watching?" I said, "About 10." He said, "Oh, thank God." And then we finished. He goes, "Well, how many will watch us?" I don't know, about 8,000. He's like, "What?" I was like, he said, "You lied to me." You said, "You're damn right I did, because you were not looking good." But I'm honest about it. I mean, I was nervous the first time I got on stage and spoke. I was nervous the first time I got in front of a radio mic and spoke.
Sure.
It's part of it. So where you headed now? I mean, now you done won the big thing. You're out there in the world. You can say, "Hey, I won Writers of the Future." F you people. Well, you don't say that, but
no.
Just say I won Writers of the Future. I know a lot of people know who they are. I mean, I talk to a lot of different people, and I'm always constantly pushing them, so that helps. But everybody now, really got a good idea who these people are and what they're doing. And it's and I tell people all the time, I said, it's more than just winning people. I said, you learn a lot and you have a lot of fun. I said, it's not just, I said, you're not just learning the whole time, which you are, but you're making new friends, you're meeting people, you're dealing with crazy people like me and Carmen and others, and then you always get to be the nice people like John and Emily and Jody. And well, we're not gonna say Maliva because she's evil, but she's evil, man. She is like, I'm telling you, dude, she is evil. I seen her one night with a little horn.
You were saying something totally different, then all of a sudden you trip yourself up.
I can't help myself. It makes me nervous. It makes me nervous.
Sidetracker in your head.
I know it's built in there to cause trouble. It's all these crazy shows y'all got me doing right now. Oh, speaking of that, before we move on, there's a new show opening for John now. Fred Smith is going to be hosting. It's a 2-hour show before Writers of the Future. I will get y'all probably next week. It's going to actually debut next week on the 10th. So sometime this week, I'll post everything he's going to be talking about, the banners and stuff like that. So y'all can see it. Matter of fact, he just had a new book come out this week himself, and he'll be addressing the UN in a couple of weeks. So nice addition to the network. Somebody that's got a good, decent following, so y'all can come check him out and listen to him. I've been wanting to put a show in front of John for, I don't know, I've been telling John for at least 9 months now, I think, give or take. So new show that fits in with today's lineup. If y'all notice this, Kirky, there's no paranormal on Saturdays now. Sorry. It's all business radio. The best way I could describe it. It's not the only day. There's going to be another day added in like that pretty soon too. So now you're famous. Now you just got to get rich. So you're rich and famous. Famous is great because I know, but rich and famous is much better. Okay. I mean, you might want to have like 10 kids in the future or something. You never know. You might want to be one of them people like one of my good friends. He didn't want to have any, but he adopted like 15 kids. No speaking English for him, but and he adopted 15 kids from around. He adopted 5 American children and 10 children from abroad.
Wow.
Yeah, I told him he was nuts, crazy idiot, but but he's got the money to do it. So that's what I'm saying. So you get rich and famous, you can have all kind of people chasing you around and stuff. let me have your autograph, things like that. The fun stuff. Trust me, first time someone seriously asks you for an autograph, you're going to be like, wait, what? I looked at the person like, what are you, stupid? What do you want my autograph for? And I wasn't even doing this. I was the icy bear.
You're the what?
I was the icy bear. So, the big white icy bear you see on television. I was the guy. I was the mascot for the Breakers games. And because we had the World's Fair at the time was going on down here. So I was working for a company called Orleans Icy, which is just basically a daiquiri without booze. And matter of fact, I think that's what ended up inventing the daiquiris was the ices. Because in the old days, people would go buy a Coke Icy and buy some rum and just pour it in there. And so that's because I remember they actually had daiquiri machines too. But no, that's what I was for the entire World's Fair. I was the mascot. Paid really good job too. And people kept asking me for my autograph. I'm like, I always signed at the Icy Band. Some lady asked me, well, that's not your real name. I said, it is when I'm in this costume.
Right.
I said, my boss said it is when I'm in this costume.
It's like having a pen name.
Yes, but it was. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was kind of weird. But I was probably not much. I was probably around the age you are now. So
Sure.
It was. I had a lot of fun. But
so
then
I'm curious, Seth, on Rise to the Future and the whole contest that was created by Orrin Hubbard, being the recipient and the receiver of like the benefactor of what was actually created, how do you see the purpose of like providing means for aspiring writer or artist to have their work seen and acknowledged? How do you see that's come into fruition for yourself and in general for the genre?
Oh, wow. I mean, that's a big question.
Yeah, it is.
So for myself, obviously there's been a lot of very direct effects with, getting to do the workshops and meet with so many amazing people. I got to have casual conversations with, Orson Scott Card and Ron Clements and a bunch of really big names, but also, more importantly, learn from them and from what their, experience in the industry. And I also got to meet all of the other writers who won in this volume and get to become good friends with them. We're all staying in contact. We've got a Discord server set up. So I think I got the feeling that a lot of us are going to continue to be friends for a long time. And
Sure.
I think that this is an industry where having friends who, are a part of it is a really big deal. We can all, help each other out in a lot of different ways. And so having that support from them and the support from, the contest and everybody that that's huge for me. Like before I became a winner on the contest, the idea of being published was like a far off dream of like, maybe it'll happen someday. And now it's like, it has happened. And the next step of, writing more, publishing more short stories, maybe a couple novels here in not too long, hopefully. I can talk about that as if it's something I'm expecting to happen, and there's no way I would have thought of things that way before. So I think, for myself personally, there's all that's just really amazing. And I think, having such a big group of new talented writers and illustrators who are all kind of coming into the field together and having that support with each other, I'm sure that's going to have an effect on sort of science fiction and fantasy more broadly as a whole, because everybody's so good at what they do. I'm positive that a good number of the names that you see in this book are going to be a lot bigger pretty soon here. So watch out for that.
Yeah. Was there any particular essay that stands out for you on the workshop?
Well, I'm not remembering the name of it, right? Or the Magic from the Hat one.
Magic out of a hat.
Yeah, exactly. The one that the 24-hour story challenge that we do is kind of based on definitely a standout. It was really a really interesting sort of reflection, and then getting to put that into practice with writing a story in 24 hours based on a prompt object was a really, really interesting. Like, I feel like I learned a lot about myself as a writer through that, which was really cool.
That's very good. Yeah, it's Magic Out of a Hat, which is obviously the thing with Arthur Burks, and that's where we came up with this story with the trash can turned upside down, and that was the whole thing of the start of the World War I, the Russian, that whole thing there. Kubanka, you turn into a Kubanka there. And then the main thing is, so for yourself, are you moving in a direction now of more short stories? Are you looking at a novel now, or doing both, or what's your next step?
Well, so I have several novel projects that I've been working on for a while that I would like to start putting out there, but I'm also doing some short stories on the side. I think that kind of leaving all my options open at this point is feels like a good idea to me. It means I'm working really hard on doing a lot of writing, but that's what I love to do, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, is the plan, like, how do you pay for your food?
Well, right now, it's primarily I work for my dad's business. I do a lot of the kind of IT stuff, which is nice. It's good to be able to work with him.
For sure.
But
my son worked with me until he decided to go out on his own.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah,
the goal for becoming a professional author, you're trying to make it so that's your vocation where you make your living.
Yes, the eventual goal would be I write, and that's what I do.
I have faith. I know. Watching all these authors, it's not the easy thing, but I know if you keep at it, eventually you'll do pretty good for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any particular authors of the judges that you kind of like latched onto that were like taking you under their wing at all?
Scott.
Well, somewhat. I think Eric James Stone is he writes a lot of science fiction short stories. I discovered his writing through a free story sample that was given out at LTUE, Life, the Universe, and Everything. It's a sci-fi fantasy sort of conference symposium that takes place in Utah that I've been to a few times. And I found they had a table of freebies, and I found a book that was a sampler that had some of his stories in it. And I was like, okay, and picked it up, and I read them, and I loved them. And that was like one of the things that really inspired me to try out writing short fiction instead of just novels.
Yeah.
And so getting to meet him, he was on a panel doing one of the workshops, and so he was there at the workshop week and at some of the in the hotel lobby, and definitely I think he was one who I felt a connection with because of that history I had with his writing.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, no, it's definitely take advantage of that, because you've got the judges are there, and the past winners are there to be able to support the new winners and to help cheer you on and whatever they can do to help make that become a future reality.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in for that because they themselves experience that. We're now into our 5th decade, so several of our judges had that happening with them. They had the previous, greats of the genre, helping them. So they're interested to be able to do that to the new generation of writers.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to sound silly. I almost wish that I had one next year instead of this one, just because next volume is going to be number 42. Which,
for LTUE, yes.
Checker's Guide, the
Galaxy,
ultimate question and stuff.
Yeah, well, last year
I love that book so much. So that's going to be cool.
It was 42 for LTUE. That was your 42nd year.
Yeah, exactly.
This year at the gala, we had this coming year's con chair and co-chair, and then the following year's con chair were both there at our awards event.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good that we were able to get them. And then also the executive director of the Superstars was also here too. Mm-hmm. She actually taught with Kevin and Rebecca.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wait, I got to announce something before I forget and get hurt by my station manager. YouTube, there's monetization going on YouTube right now. So the Gray Zone, which people have been writing to me for months about, will be available again. I'm sorry, guys. The show was never designed to be a free show. There's too much research involved in the show. But now that YouTube has gone ahead and gave us monetizations on UFO Paranormal Radio, it will be available there for you to go watch now. I think there's 70 episodes. They'll be there. And actually, when we switch TV companies on the 1st, they will also be available there as well. And then they'll be available on Podbean when it starts back with us on the 15th of next month. So y'all can go check them out in all those places. It's a great show. Michelle does most of the research. I just run my mouth the whole time. Best way to do radio. The shows are extremely popular. None of them did under 3 million listens. So they're very popular shows. But like I said, you only got to hear them the one time, and then poof, they disappeared. They've never been in replay. They have never even been rerun. And the only one I left up on archive is the #1 archive on YouTube right now for the last 3 years. So tells you something about the show. Anyway, enough about all of that. Now, Seth, remember when you're rich, man? When you see Joe off on the sideline going, hey, I need an interview. Just remember, I was nice press, man. When I'm standing out there with all the rest of them Hollywood idiots, I'm Seth, who is that old bastard? It's no, Kirby. So a lot of these guys, and I should say guys and girls, are gentlemen and ladies, whatever you want to call them. I have no doubt that quite a few of these will be professionals. I can't, personally, I think they all have got the talent to do it. But sometimes it takes more than talent; it takes will as well.
Persistence, yeah.
Yes, and I've learned that the hard way in my own personal life. Some things I really wanted, I was just too lazy to go after. And when I did finally decide I wanted something, it worked out really well for me. So I have faith in Seth. I mean, he has a unique way of writing, which right off the bat is a plus. Who? What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about Orson Scott. Oh, Scott is great. I talk to him any chance I get. I talk with Scott about a multiple realm of topics. John always slaps me. Stop talking to him about that. But Scott is bad. He gets me in trouble. But anyway, he's a fabulous guy to listen to, talk to. And he is the hardest critic on Ender's Game than anyone who has ever seen the movie or read the book. He is by far the hardest critic on it. So, but he's wonderful to talk to. I mean, did you get a chance to spend some time with him while you were there?
Yeah, a little bit. It was very cool. He's a lot of fun. Not heavily filtered. He just kind of says what he thinks.
He's not filtered,
which makes him very entertaining to talk to.
Yes. So I want to get him and Larry Elmore together. And one's an author, one's an illustrator, but I want to get the two of them together because they can tell some serious. Look, anybody who can out-talk me is worth getting on the air. And
right.
There's some really good interviews out there, so I'd really like to get him in. But I mean, so you got to talk to the judges. You felt like you got to talk to the people you wanted to talk to while you were here. I mean, nobody was rude to you and said, "Hey, don't talk to me. Get away from me."
No, definitely not. Everyone was very pleasant and supportive. Basically, everyone I talked to told me to, send them any questions I have anytime, which is very generous. So,
yes. Oh, and you finally got to meet the infamous Joni, didn't you?
Yes.
Joni, yes. We all talk about Joni, guys and girls. Well, infamous. She's not infamous in a bad way. Don't take it as a bad way. She is just, Oh man, she gets
Very
to
cool.
tell everybody hey or nay, you know. So this is the one when you see her number on your phone, you're like, oh, should I pick this up or not? Is this a good call or is this a bad call? Or is this an in-between call? What is this call? What do you mean? I get nervous when she calls me and I know I'm not one of the winners. What are you talking about? Oh shit, what does she want to talk to me for? It's so Carolyn, where are you from, Carolyn? Oh, Pensacola. Well, I'll go to Pensacola on a regular basis. Yes, and since I'm buying me a new car, I'll be down there more often. I'm not telling you what kind of car I got now. Not on this show anyway, because I ain't 100%. But no. So what's the question you have for Seth? Oh, wait, what are you asking him on a date? Is that what you're doing? No, I'm confused. Well, no, I'm confused.
I'm flattered.
You know he's only like 25. Or how old are you, by the way? Oh, okay. No, so you watched the gala? She was just saying you were the cutest one at the gala. That's all.
Thank you very much.
Did you? Well, no, I'm sure he appreciates that. Did you enjoy watching the gala event, the gala event? Well, I pronounce it both ways, so I go back and forth on it. You liked it, right? It was a lot of fun to watch. And don't you wish you were there? You should go write, become an illustrator or something, become an author and win. They feed you good too.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure, the dessert.
And I learned, dessert. We're not going to get into the dessert because I was sitting at a table where nobody wanted to eat the dessert. So me and, wait. So y'all know who B is. So B goes, I don't want to. I said, B, I've been watching you eat grass all week, the last 2 days. Eat the damn dessert. Oh no, they got a great dessert. The whole thing is great. Mm-hmm. They do a good job. So you get to see these guys all decked out, all fancied up, all up there doing their speech and well, no, they have to give an acceptance speech because they won. Yes, they have to get up and say, I am the best. The rest of y'all suck.
Well, no, not quite.
No. Joe, that's not what they do.
I'm helping with the ego problems here. No, actually, they are very gracious. All of them are very gracious. I mean,
you can watch the award show if you want to see how it went down.
And yes, it's available in several locations. I know it's still up on Writers and Writers. Damn it!
You can go to writersandfeatures.com. It's right there on the homepage.
I know I couldn't get that out for nothing. So you can go there and get it. It's on a couple of our pages. It will be on the web. Well, I don't know what's going to be on the website yet right now, and not until the girls are finished, and then I'll go see what's going to be from Writers of the Future. Every year I post some stuff from Writers of the Future on the UPRN website. Matter of fact, you can go see the boss lady. She's like that. Got the top picture, and John's standing next to her, but he's got his girlfriend with him. So I don't know how Emily felt about that, but it's what's her name? Little old lady. God, she's so sweet.
Oh, Lydia Van Vogt?
Yeah, that's her. Yes, and she is such a sweetie. I got y'all two standing.
Yeah, I think she's 98 now or 99.
Oh, she's a sweetie, and she talked to me for a long time too. When we was in the office. Well, just was like the day before the gala. They were over at Author Services, and I didn't know who she was.
A couple years ago, right?
Yeah, this a few years back. Yeah. And we were at Author Services, and we talked for a while until somebody came to get her or take her somewhere. She was with a friend or a sister or something.
Yeah, she was Eisenhower's personal secretary when he was the general and when he was the commander-in-chief of the armed forces in Europe.
She had some stories to tell.
She spoke 5 different languages, so she traveled with him as his translator and secretary then throughout that whole battlefield there. And she talked about when they went to Auschwitz, and they went in and she saw the mountain of bodies there, and she just, this is 50 years later, 6 years later, she was still crying when she recounted that. And they just got in, they turned around and left when they saw when Eisenhower saw that. And then when he became president, he's the one that got her visa to come to the United States. She went to New York, and she became a Chanel model. She was a beautiful woman, so she became a Chanel model. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, she then met and married A.E. Van Vogt, the famous Pulp Fiction writer. And they came out to Los Angeles, and that's and so then
quite the life.
Yeah, she and she called Van Vogt. She talked about they had lunch with with Owen Hubbard at Musso and Frank's, and which is still around as a restaurant.
Yep.
And anyway, so she loves coming to this event every year, and it's just amazing. She still wears heels. She's just a beautiful woman. She takes her long walks every day. So
yeah, she's a sweetie pie too.
Yeah,
and she's got a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah.
Jamie, you can only get in by winning, sweetie. I'm sorry. You have to, unless you're somebody famous, and then you can write to John. He might let you come speak. No, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just, it's a winner's thing.
Yeah. If we get,
I just go for
we like to invite editors and publishers there, and people that are interested in looking for movie rights, where they can take a look at the stories and meet the authors to be able to do that. So we like
Carolyn,
that. We want them to have careers.
If you're friends with Joe Rogan, I guarantee you John would let Joe Rogan come. I would put money on it, actually.
You would, huh?
Yes, I would.
All right.
I'd put money on it. It's well, I'm not talking about speaking. He'd probably let him come as a guest.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. I mean, no, John's a nice guy. I wasn't talking about Joe because I no, indeed not. Anyway, if you want to get there and you're not somebody famous or rich, all I can tell you is win the contest and go. Unless you've got a big pull somewhere, a big audience somewhere that, and you're friendly press, maybe you can talk to him then. But frankly, guys, they have a lot of good press there. All the press there is friendly press. Hey, Joe, I'll see you down there, babe. It's all friendly press. That's what they're there for, is just to help these people get used to dealing with people like me. And trust me, when I'm done with them, they're ready to deal with anybody out there. And I've told all of them the same thing. Anybody ever gives you any, and I still mean that. Anybody ever gives you any trouble, if you're ever doing press and somebody tries to make you look like an ass, or you get John, give me a call and I'll deal with them for you. I'll show them what being an ass really is. Trust me. If you don't believe me, come listen to the chat or the news on the flip side. You'll know to stay far away from me. Anyway, we got Joel down here. We got to bring Joel up here with his good-looking self. Hey, man, you see this?
Hey, Joel.
These people were good-looking this year too. I mean, yeah, hey, man, we had some years where they were, 50, 50.
Now Joe knocked that off.
Some years are better than others. That's all I can say. It's well, I'm going to say, do y'all know each other? Oh Lord, have mercy.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, I'm on crack or something. Y'all just ignore me when I say stupid stuff like that. So, Seth, you don't go anywhere unless you want to. So we're just hanging out. So, Joel, did you have fun?
Oh gosh, I had the best week. It was just crazy. It was just like being in a dream for most of it. It just pinched me almost every day.
Oh yeah,
several times a day. It was unbelievable. If it wasn't for
Joel's talking to us from Wales, UK.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry, from Wales.
He's home now. Yeah.
What's the time where you are right now?
It's about
11:05.
I think 11 p.m.
Yeah,
11:05. Yes,
Yeah,
we have a big audience in on the island, so I keep a good track of the time. It's we started out in London and it just kind of grew from there. We started out like a pub movement, and then all of a sudden we had listeners, which was kind of strange because it's wee hours in the morning. When I'm on, it's the wee hours in the morning. So you got there, you showed up, you said, "Oh hell, what did I get myself into?" There's a lot of strange people running around here.
Now just
making trouble all the time.
Yes. Well, I'm there to make trouble, so that's what I'm there for. That's what they bring me there for. But so you get in.
Joel wrote this story called "The Stench of Freedom," which was like such a good story.
Oh, thank you.
Without giving away what it is, it's another. The thing that makes the stories and writers of the future so good, and why it is the best selling, and we've been 5 days on the bestseller since it released and still going strong, is that there's just amazing stories. It's not just, okay, here's a science fiction, here's a fantasy, but they're like cutting edge, but they're also like really fresh, a new take of just very original ideas. And you're writing this story that you wish would be told. And this one here, this guy that, you can really relate it to what you see in real life too, which is the same thing with Seth, but what you see in real life, but you put it into this other world that makes it easier for people to look at, oh, that's just ridiculous. Oh, that's just ridiculous. They're not willing to look at it in our world, but they can look in that world and see how ridiculous it is. So you want to give your little description of the story and how you came to create this, what inspired it?
Yeah, so I say my sort of log line for stories is there's a city that's powered by lightning. So it's a fancy story. So it's all elements. And it's a character, it's a redemption arc. There's a man who realizes the sort of how rotten he is really, and he tries to, hopefully save his, get in the situation, save his son. And it was really inspired by when I became a dad. It's quite a transformational experience becoming a parent. You see the world differently. Not only is everything a danger, it's like hazard here, hazard there. You just see things differently. You're not the center of the universe anymore. Your ambitions, your desires, what you want is secondary to being a parent. And I thought, well, how can I take that to the nth degree? So I came up with this sort of dystopian Victorian type world, and got a chap there who really is not a great person to begin with, and to see perhaps the error of his ways. And what I guess the question would be, what would it take someone to see the world differently? And as John was saying then, the great thing about fantasy and science fiction, speculative fiction, is you can have these scenarios where it's not too on the nose. Like if you're writing in literary, you can make people think, oh, actually, you can accept it more because it's in a secondary world. But it has parallels to our world really, and sort of moral dilemmas, and you can have fun with it, which I don't think. Yeah. Which is why I love the genre, which I love it, and I've fun writing it. I hope people enjoy it. It's still surreal. I got the book on my shelf, to open it up, see my name, think, wow, it's not gonna get Ellen.
I don't blame you. I keep reminders of stuff all around me where I've been speaking and stuff. So it's a good thing to remind yourself. Yeah.
Now I'm going to have to sign off now. I'm meeting with a guy that runs awards competition. He's got a couple of them, different book awards, and I'm meeting with him about a book we just published called Hubbard Presents Writers, volume 41. So you'll have to excuse me. It's he's got 2 awards programs he does. So I want to find out more about the second one. But because we just got the gold award for volume 40, but now we're on volume 41, which I'm interested in making that one another award-winning title, which is always a good thing to be able to put in your cap as well.
Oh, sure.
Fingers crossed. Good luck.
Thank you. Yes. Very nice seeing you, Joel, and well done on that article. That was an awesome article.
Thank you. Yeah, that was lovely.
So you can tell Joe and Seth about it. That was a super good article that just came out yesterday on just like, it's one of those like articles you're like, wow, how to get that? That's just like super, super good.
It was lovely.
Anyway,
it was lovely to see you again, John. And
nice seeing you too. And be sure to talk about what the impact that L. Ron Hubbard has had with his contest, in UK as well, because we're going to be releasing in about a month and a half, and Seth is going to be like plowing lots of social posts your direction to help you out, like as you've been helping him on the US release.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So there we go. Okay, great. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Baby. Talk to you later, Joe. See you, Seth. See you, Joel.
See you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely and sweet John Goodwin. Well, I shouldn't say lovely. Maybe that's not quite the right description. It's so I mean, when you get there, it's always fun when you get down there. There's always so much stuff going on. You never know exactly how it's going to turn out. For me, every year it's a little different. The crowds are a little different. Like I said earlier, this was by far the most energetic crowd of anyone that I've had the pleasure of dealing with. Everybody was go-getters. Everybody was talking to the judges. A lot of like last year, the year before last, I was pretty much dragging people around to introduce them to judges. Well, the judges want to talk to people, but they're not going to go track you down and ask you to talk.
Yeah, of course.
That's not, so But as long as you're engaging them, they want to talk. I mean, all of them, are well, they all get down there and enjoy themselves. They have a lot of they have a lot of
we
fun.
had a blast with some of the judges there. They're really friendly, and there was the first day or so, and there's Tim Powers and Jodie Lynn Nye in the workshop. I was like, ooh. Or I was a bit nervous to go up and speak to them, but that soon went, and it was just really nice to hear these crazy.
You want to talk to Tim Powers? Have a can of Coke in your hand.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You'll make
brownie downs that stuff.
Yeah. You'll make brownie points. No, Justin, I'm serious. He's a Coca-Cola fan like I used to be. Yeah, he goes there. He's always got he's like me too. He likes a canned Coke because they stay colder, but. It's but if you want to talk to them, that's the way to do it. But I mean, there was a lot that went on in those classes. I mean, how many teachers did y'all have this year? Because I didn't catch all of them.
Yeah, I've lost track. One day, I think we had like 6, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we had several sort of panel groups where we had 2 or 3 people talking to us at once. So definitely like a lot of really, really good input. Really all at once, like. I had to take a lot of notes to make sure I retained everything.
Someone said it was like trying to drink from a fire hose.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Quite a good way of describing it. It was just so much good advice, and I was just typing.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. I know that, and I'm amazed. I was sitting down because every now and then I'll bang out some letters here and there, some words here and there, and I was amazed on how much. Because to be honest, it's not something I do. How much of this that I've retained. I was like, because there was, for me, when I first started trying to write something, there was certain blocks I had, stupid stuff like, how do you stretch out a particular thing? How do you, where is it appropriate to use filler and not to use filler stuff like that. I mean, and I'm an amateur at best. So I'm thinking, what the bleep did I get? And so I couldn't figure it out. It never sounded right to me. And then, I listened to a couple of their classes, and for about 4 years worth, I'm going to realize, wow, I might actually know how to write some of this. I wrote almost 80,000 words in 3 years of going up there, and then I read it all, and then I deleted it. I said, I should have. Emily got mad. I should have sent it to her and let her read through it. But my biggest problem is my brain works faster than a tape recorder or my fingers. I can't. So I have to. What I've actually been doing this year is teaching myself by talking to my friends through text to slow myself down a little bit, paying more attention. Man, I'll say something, and like my manager writes to me, she said, "What was this?" She said, "This is jibber jabber, Joe. What the hell is this?" And I read back through it, and I was like, even I didn't know what the hell it meant. And then I get that accent. Well, I got that coon ass accent, and the texting doesn't always do it at best. And if I take my time and speak clearly and slowly, but my brain works faster than that. So when I'm trying to do a story like y'all do, for some reason, if I don't get it down immediately, it just kind of goes to the waste. There's too much crap in my head is what it is. So it goes to the waste. So y'all are more focused and better at it. You probably go, well, I know it's going to be like this, and I'm going to change this into this. I'm just trying to get the stuff on. Well, okay, it's not paper. It's a computer idiot whoever wrote me that. But no, I can't write. I can't even read my own handwriting. What are you talking about? I can if I take my time, but if I'm just scribble scratching, no, it's jibber jabber.
Well, that's why one reason I didn't take. I took my computer into classes. Was I knew my handwriting so bad. Everything's on the computer now. So if I've gone there and had all these lessons, and a couple of months down the line, think, oh, what did Orson Scott Card say about this? I'd look at my sort of pigeon scrawl and think, I have no idea.
Yeah, so I'm the same way. See, look, Seth's laughing at us because he probably got a good looking handwriting and stuff.
Yeah, it's legible.
It's legible. That's not good either. It's
I actually got to run now. I have to go pick up a pizza. But
go on, go get
so
some
much
to eat.
for having me.
Don't be talking about pizza. That man gonna make me hungry. Thanks for hanging out, Seth. Nice to see you, baby.
Yeah, let Joel take over from here.
Yes, we'll let Joel get in some trouble by himself. We'll bring in some of these crazy Florida girls and hang out with them. It's we had a group come through earlier tonight. They were just, oh, he's cute. Is he married? That's enough of that, girls. They obviously they must have been having a few mimosas down there or something, having a good old time. So I mean, so you get in town, you arrive in. I know because we came in together, and you get there. So you meet Jody and Tim, which is Tim's kind of a powerful presence in itself, and he's got a pretty big book to his name. I mean, because that's what they wrote to Caribbean movies after was his book. So, that's pretty big, and he's got a lot of other stuff to his name, and he definitely
Anubis Gates on the way over, and it's just kind of crazy. I've got some. You've got someone's name on a book in your bookshelf, and then all of a sudden that person is there right in front of you and telling you how to write a book. It's at first it's kind of a bit overwhelming because you just think, "Wow, what is this? Is crazy. Someone's come to life."
It is, but that's a good thing, and it'll help you remember that you earned that, and that it wasn't just given to you. It'll help you down the line. It's funny to me because I'll be places talking with friends and stuff, or I'll be out, doing a lecture somewhere, and I'll be just casually talking about these guys, and they're like, "Joe, do you know who these guys are?" I said, "Yeah, I've been seeing them every year for 6 years." And, "Joe, do you know who you're hanging out with?" I'm like, "Yeah, what about them?" I said, "Dude, I'm not a geek like y'all. Calm down." Matter of fact, a good friend of mine, I brought him on to host with me on 2 shows where Kevin J. Anderson was one of them and Rob Sawyer was one of them. And they were flipping out. And I was like, "Why are you flipping out? They're just people." "No, Joe, you don't understand. I mean, he got Dune and they're going on and on about their credits." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "Trust me, I eat lunch with them all the time when I'm there in dinner." I said, "They're just normal everyday people, man." "Oh no." And then I was somewhere. I was at Tulane University, and Larry Niven's name came up. And the guy's like, "You know Larry Niven?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Can you get me his autograph?" I said, "I only see him once a year out at Writers of the Future." And I said the first year he thought I was some kind of evil, whatever. He was no really. It was funny. He was, I was pressed. I was trying to get an interview with him, and anytime I walked up to him, he just laughed and disappeared. And then the second year, we kind of got to know each other a little bit. The third year, I forgot who it was. One of the girls came up and stuck my arm underneath his and said, "You're responsible for him the rest of the day." I said, "You hear that, Larry? Don't get me in trouble." So we got to spend the afternoon chit chat. I was there making sure he got to all his press places and all of that stuff. And they knew I was friendly press, so they knew I wasn't going to give him any shit.
Yeah.
He was in it. But I got to say, Scott is probably one of my favorites. Tim's one of my favorites. Jody's always a sweetheart.
Yeah,
she, for some reason, she's got the
teacher.
She's got the record on the YouTube for our network. I don't know why, for judges. It doesn't make any sense to me, but she does. And then it's weird though because with y'all, so the young author, I shouldn't say young authors, but the authors coming in. Authors tend to be more extroverted than illustrators are, but only when they're younger. When they get older, they tend to get inverted. So a lot of the judges are hard to get interviews with. They're not as talkative as when they were younger. Now, authors, see, when I talk to the authors, just the winners, we're lucky if it's only 2 hours. But when I'm talking with the illustrators, but the illustrator judges are, let's go out. I mean, Echo Cherney, Tom Wood, Dan DeSantis, a few of the others, Larry Elmore, they all like to go out and get into mischief. So they're way more extroverted, but not the winners. The winners are extremely inverted. I mean, the first 5 years, if I got to interview more than 20 minutes, I was doing good with the illustrator. Until I ran into April and Nancy, was it last year before? They were chitty chatter. They like to chat, but and then this year they seem to be pretty much out there talking.
They were a great bunch as well. We didn't see them as much because the workshops we only had 1 or 2 together, but we saw them in the throughout the day outside, and they were lovely bunch as well. They were
and most of them were female, which is almost always how it is, and they're usually younger too than the authors.
A couple of them were still in college, weren't they? And they were in the same college.
It's well, the youngest one so far I've met was 16. They flew her in from Spain.
Oh wow!
She had won She was talented, but they bring in people from around the world. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you're good and you win, it doesn't matter where you live on the planet.
If you're
Well,
good
if
enough,
you're in
you're
North
good enough.
Korea,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know if there's anything they can help you in North Korea, but everywhere else they can get you. Oh no, a lot of Chinese people have won. Oh yeah, I've attended. What's great about it is when a Chinese person wins, they send the big Chinese media over. I met Kimberly. I can't remember her full name. Kim Tan Chi, I think, and they were representing 500 million viewers.
Wow.
Yeah, 500 million viewers. I told her, whatever you do, don't tell these people that until after the interview. She started laughing. She started laughing. She was like, well, can I interview you? I said, sure, we'll interview each other. How's that? So that's what we did. But
well, in the last one, you said you joked and said there were 800 people. And then afterwards, I thought, wow, that's a lot. And then you were like, no, it's like 2.5 million afterwards.
Oh yeah, so we never tell y'all the truth. So this show does on average between 2.5 and 3.3 million listeners, and that's if we got a guest that doesn't even know how to open their mouth, we'll still see 2 million listeners. So on the gala that aired on here the Wednesday after the event, it was 3.3 million listeners and about 400,000 viewers because it was on TV as well. So that's just but the listeners are fine. But when you're listening to the gala, it's not the same as watching it. You're hearing all the pageantry and all, what's going on. But still, you're not seeing everybody, dressed up and all the pretty stuff going on.
It was,
and you never know. And I've seen different times. One year they had some massive dragon up there on the stage. It was crazy looking, and they had it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, when I was looking through the speeches, the past.
And if you ever get to go to Echo's gallery in Seattle, she's got some huge wings. I think it was from the dragon, and
okay.
It's so she's got a set. I don't know how she got them home. They were huge. I have no idea how she got them home.
Well, we had an extra suitcase for our trophy, so I don't know the wings.
So that was the very first year I was with them because there was 48 winners that year because it was COVID, and was in the COVID, and I was so surprised that they did that. I'm like, man, how are these people going to get this shit home? I mean, you got 5 or 6 books, you got trophies, you got little knick-knack stuff you've picked up. I mean, And then when I found out that they not only got it, but they paid for it, I was like, okay, that's.
Yeah, that was cool. That was very kind of them as well.
Because it depends what airlines you're flying. I mean, Delta always wants to hit you up just $35 per bag, but some of the other ones, I forgot who I was flying. I lifted up my bag and I put it down. She said $140. I said, for what? She said, that's how much it weighs. She said, I said, wait a minute, you charge me $140 for what my suitcase weighs? I said, give me a few minutes. I'll take some out and put it in this one and bring it on a plane with me. And she's like, what? I was like, that's ridiculous. I said, I mean, I got to pay it because, I'm en route to where I'm going. But, and then on the way out, they didn't charge me anything.
Oh, really? It's weird.
It was weird, man. It was weird. So, I mean, but how long was your flight altogether?
I think it's about 9.5, 10 hours, something like that.
That's not horrible. I mean, that's not great.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Any layovers or straight through?
Straight one, LAX to Heathrow.
Yeah. That's one of the things I love about Jody. She almost always books one way. I mean, not one way, no stops.
Yeah.
It's just so much nicer because when I'm leaving here, if I'm flying out of New Orleans, it's about a 3-hour and 20-minute trip to LA. Unless we get like the last pilot we got who was crazy. We got there in 2 hours and 50 minutes. He said, it's been a little bumpy, so we're going to go up another 10,000 feet. You know what? We're going to kick it up to about 650. And I'm like, oh, okay. And we rode. He said we were
like Men in Black, press that button. And
I don't know what he's going up there. It was, but he had a good time. And then I guess he was maybe we were his last flight or something. But flying from New Orleans to there to LA, the planes are always packed. Coming home, they're not. So so most time when you're coming back, you'll have the rows to yourself.
Nice.
So you can stretch out and enjoy yourself. There's nobody on there with you. And on this one was the same thing. On this flight, it was the same way. Well, no, he was flying to England, guys. Yeah. No, Australia is like 16 hours from there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's a big one.
No, I think you can get a nonstop flight to Sydney, but I imagine that plane's like smoking on fumes when it gets there. Maybe you want to make a stop somewhere. what are you talking about? No. He's on the other side of the planet. Well, he's on the other side of the ocean, not on the side of the planet. He's on the other side of the pond, the Atlantic pond. How's that? Is that better? Well, no. I mean, you could get to him from Pacific. You just have to fly around. So one way you fly over the United States to where he lives, or the other way you fly over the Pacific and over China, I guess. Yes, which I don't know if China's going to go for. So we're not on the best terms with them right now. It's it's funny. Somebody asked me the other day. He lives in France. He goes, "When I buy my Writers of the Future book, is the tariff going to make it cost more?" I said no, because I think the whole book is made in the United States. I said unless there's an import tariff, I said that probably won't cost you anymore. I said it's weird. Tariffs are a weird thing. People ask me about them all the time. I'm like, well, if you're worried about tariffs, like if you're an American, buy American, and you don't have to worry about tariffs because it's only on foreign products. And it's the same thing for the rest of the world. That's why Canada right now is screaming buy Canadians. Why the Brits are buying England. It's because if you buy local, it's not going to be as expensive. But then there are things, unfortunately for all of us, like automobiles that are made in multiple places.
Yeah.
So those are going to be things that. What are you saying? We should give away one of these books with every car bought? But if you can talk John into that, go for it. I'm sure Joel will be real happy. I mean, yeah, everybody will be getting one of his books.
Stay on the bestsellers.
So I keep it on that list.
Yeah, I was mad when they told us it was #1 Amazon bestseller. It's crazy.
I know. I always know it's going to be a couple of days. Sometimes it goes longer. It depends. There's some really good stories in this book. There's some really good artwork in there. I wouldn't doubt that it stays up there even longer. And then we're going to be talking about it for weeks to come. So that helps to move it around with different audiences. And like last night before the last couple of Fridays since I've been home, I plugged it on the big shows. I mean, between News and the Flip Side and the chat, it's about 7 million listeners and about 1.5 million viewers. So it's so we talk about it all the time. And they're worldwide. That's the thing. It's one of the things that makes it hard to make money. It's like this show is almost 151 countries. So we don't right now. Hold on a second. So if in Istanbul, Turkey, there is 2,800 people listening to us right now. And England, we're just going to do the English server, not the London server. There is 144,000 people listening to us right now.
Oh, wow.
Of course, that's across all of, England. I mean, we're talking Welsh, Scottish, Irish, the whole bunch. But what are you talking about, John? No, John, that's not true. So when I did my ancestry, I found out that I was 46% Scottish, Welsh, Irish is what it came out. And then 30-something% Italian. And then there was 4 little Mediterranean countries. Oh yeah, well, you know what? My family is a bunch of idiots. So I used to hear all kind of stuff. We had this blood. No, we did not. Cherokee. There ain't no Cherokee in my family. Even though, wait, this tells you how stupid things are. So my grandmother was adopted when she was a kid. And they said she was Irish and Cherokee Indian. I was like, Jesus Christ. And, what kind of temper does she have? Well, come to find out, she was adopted by the Cherokee, but she wasn't Cherokee. But anyway, they offered me a couple of years ago 2%. They said, you're 2% Cherokee, which gets you $2,000 a month from the reservation for being that much Cherokee. I'm like, what? And I looked at him like, I thought about it. I mean, $2,000 a month, $2,000 a month. And I said, you know what? I said, I can't take that money. I said, I haven't done anything to earn that money. I said, even if I have the blood, it's not worth taking your money from me. Give it to somebody who needs it.
Yeah.
Because at the time I was making really good money. So I was kind of like, but it tells you right there, people, don't believe your relatives. Go get it checked out for yourself. On at least 5 of my family members and at least 5 or 6 of my friends, when they had it checked out, it was not what they were told. It turned out to be something else. Yes. Well, I knew I had Italian in me because my dad.
Montaldo, it's got to be Italian.
Yeah. So, I mean, my dad was like 60-something%. I was at maybe like 35%. Now, my wife, on the other hand, her mom was almost 90%. So she's like 44% or something. Yes. But she's also Irish, Scottish, Welsh as well. It looks like there was a lot of crossbreeding between that group And the Italians, don't ask me why. I would have thought it would have been the French. They're closer. I mean, French is right there across the channel. Get in a damn rowboat and row over there and get a girlfriend. I don't know what to tell you. So let me ask you something. Do you ever? I mean, you live there, so do you ever take the train to France? The underwater tunnel train.
The Channel Tunnel. I've never actually caught it. I caught the ferry a couple of times and flew, but yeah, I've never actually done the Channel Tunnel.
So far I've interviewed like 500 people. None of them have been in that damn tunnel. I'm beginning to wonder about this tunnel, man. Is this thing scary or something?
Yeah, they run TV adverts for it, and you can drive straight onto it. I'm like, I don't know. It'd be convenient, but
no. I guess people don't like being underwater for that long.
Yeah, that far underwater in a train, in your car. There's a lot.
I know it's a little weird. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, we have tunnels down here, but not like that. Not that long. We got little itty bitty tunnels that go into bayous and deep channels and stuff like that. It's well, in the old days they thought tunnels were, because unfortunately down here when they build bridges, we have to build them so big ships and oil rigs can go underneath them. So they're like little mini mountains. They're like 20, 30 stories tall. They're like little mini mountains is what they are. And sometimes they're really steep. And you're kind of like, okay. Francisca, where are you, Francisca? I thought it was Francisca, but you got it with a G in it, so it's Francisca, which is kind of weird. Shouldn't that be a C? No? Hey, it's your name. Well, anyway, where are you from? You're from London. My ass. No, I mean, we have listeners in London, but so what part of London you in? Because I got some friends own some pubs over there. Yeah. I went over there when you beat them all in darts. They let an American beat him in darts. That was sad. That was just sad. I didn't tell him I used to play professional, but it was still sad. Oh no, I went like it. I went like 6 pubs and whipped a bunch. I like to get my ass whooped. It was anyway. What do you got for us? Joel isn't nice because she's just wanting to know if you've got something new. So okay, before I let him answer it, you can find this book on Amazon, on galaxypress.com, or any really major bookstore. I imagine since they're back in good standing in the UK, I imagine you can find them pretty much all over there. So
June 18th, I think it launches in the UK. A bit after the US and Canada launch. So you were
them damn Canadians. Canadians are always messing shit up. It's no. So anyway, so if you live though, you can get it. I mean, you can order from the US, but I would wait till it came in your country because it'd probably be cheaper. Right now, shipping anything anywhere in the world seems to be a little bit risky. Well, even when the tariff wasn't on it, I had a winner in Canada and Saskatchewan win 3 books. I went and mailed the 3 books. It was almost $150.
Oh wow!
3 books. I was like, wow. Now 2 of them were the size because they were 2 years of Writers of the Future, and then it was another book somebody had sent me. But I was surprised. I've shipped them for the UK for half that. And a lot of times the UK sometimes will even get better deals than that. But yeah, I'd wait till it came up there. So anyway, what she wanted to know next was, she said, well, how do you like a story if you ain't read a story? Oh, you like it from what you heard us talk about? We didn't really talk about anything yet. Go buy the damn book. Go buy the damn book. Tell you what, buy the book and then you come back and ask her. But she wants to know if you're going to be having anything new available anytime soon, is what her question was originally.
Okay, I have got another short story coming out. I think it's the start of May in a UK publication called Taglyan. It's a Welsh one, so that's my next short story coming out. But now it's trying to recover.
It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, sell, promote and try and get people reading Writers of the Future, and try and especially when it launches in the UK, try and get some bookstores hopefully, and meet people.
Yeah.
And
be sure you mention that, because John and them will probably try to help you get some interviews or books, or lined up some bookstores. Because
I think he's hopefully trying to meet him in London later this year, because he's going to the Frankfurt Book Fair.
Yeah, he goes to the Frankfurt Book Fair.
catching them some other winners. So just trying to get about, get my face about, and yeah, hopefully as many people as possible read my story, A Stench of Freedom, Rise of the Future, Volume 41.
It's right there. It's right. What is it? I forgot what story it was. I'd have to pull the book down. It's no, the art. There's artwork that goes with it.
Oh yeah, it's terrific.
You're gonna make me go look.
Yeah. John Barlow illustrated my story.
Let's go see.
Fantastic.
All the works in the front, guys and girls.
Yeah, the color one at the front.
Okay, let's see. Okay, no, that's not it. I recognize that. No, look, they're all colored in the front. Yeah, see. But anyway, it's not what we're looking for. Let me find this one and I'll show y'all. Yeah, there's always the pictures in the front. The redhead, they did a good job with the redhead.
Yeah, that was really nice.
It's well, y'all will see it. Well, yeah, if you buy the book, you'll see it. And of course, the chick pointing the gun at your head, that's never a good thing. And Tough Old Man, that was wasn't that what's his name wrote?
That's a great illustration. It's a great story as well. It's a great illustration for that one.
Isn't that the story they did for the show?
Oh, radio play. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
I've never seen a radio play in
I've seen them in the past, but I always enjoy them. I don't know,
yeah, it's really good. Jim,
who the hell is this? I noticed. Yeah, Jim's a blast to talk to. He's,
yeah,
I gotta watch him because he'll revert
in the audiobook as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He'll go off into a bunch of voices, and I'll forget what the hell we're talking about.
It's Patrick Stewart is.
Oh yeah, it's his right on with his Patrick Stewart. I mean, he's all right. I know this damn thing is in here.
I think it's the last. Is it not the last one? Who's after me? Seth's after me.
Yeah, Seth's the last, if I remember right. So yeah, Seth's last. Who's this one right here? Cam. Oh, Cam. I remember Cam because we might give Cam a show. I forgot. We talked about giving Cam a show because he don't like to be seen on Cam. Damn, my voice is going up. All right, now, damn it. I know this isn't here. Oh, there's Gigi.
I think it's after Gigi.
That's David.
It's just before David Hofrichter did Rune Witch. I think my one is the page before that. John Barlow did that one.
Yeah, let's see. We're talking about art, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, he did. Yeah, there it is, right there. Stench of Freedom. Took me. I don't know why. I must have went right over it. Oh, I know why. Because of the color scheme of the one next to it.
Oh yeah. It's next to Sandy's one.
Yeah. So guys and girls, let me put this up here so you can see it. I don't want to bend it. So it's this.
The one on the right.
This one, yes. It's this one over here. It's that goes with the story. Now you'd have to know what the story is to know what the picture's about. Okay. So remember, people, when we're doing these, and we talk about this all the time.
It's awesome.
A lot of people like
the art reveal. I don't know if anyone spoke about that yet. That's one of the highlights of the week.
And they do it early now too.
Find it.
Yeah, they used to do it later, like Wednesday or Thursday.
I heard that, yeah, because a few of the judges who flew in a bit later missed it. And they like to see that as well.
It's a lot of fun to watch. There's a lot of fun to watch. There's a lot of crying goes on, a lot of hugging going on. So when you seen it, did you recognize your picture right off the bat?
Yeah, I was one of the first into the theater, and I spotted it straight away. And I started looking at one or two of the other ones, but I thought I can't. I just cut straight across there and went straight to it.
Denise, they don't get to see the picture till the night of the reveal. Yeah, so they know who the artist is, but they don't really see anything until the night of the reveal. So they have to go find their picture and their artist. Yes. So far in 6 years, it's worked 100%, which is amazing. Nobody gets it wrong. But I guess they have help. I mean, Malieve and Echo help them to make sure they're capturing the story.
Yeah, they did a really good job pairing us up. I was speaking to John, who did my illustration, and he has an interest in draw speculative, but he said he felt it was a good match with his style. And actually, my wife, when I'd shown her the introduction to illustrators. So we just saw their profiles. So the 3 submissions they all made.
Yeah, they made, yeah.
Before, and she said, "Oh, that one would be really good. That looked like it'd be a good one for your story." And I said, "Well, actually, that is the guy who's been chosen to do my one." So, you know, it was just bang on, and he's done a terrific job. I was so happy with it. And I've given a copy. It's about this big. I got 2 of those I had to bring home with me. So
yeah, it's nice to have them. Actually, Stephanie, they still own their stories and their art. Yeah, they still own them. It's weird how it works. They pay them per word, but they also let them retain ownership of the story. Yes. Well, you know, it's the right thing to do. It's one of the reasons I like this contest. They don't want to charge them any money. I've been to a lot of contests over the years. There's a lot of bullshit goes on in these contests. It's I'm, you know, and it took me a long time to trust these people. I'm not a real trusting kind of person. And you know, when I hear things that generally sound like they're too good to be true, well, you know, they usually turn out to be too good to be true. In this case, you know, because he called me and told me all kind of stuff, and I was like, the first time he talked to me, I was like, "You are so bleep bleep bleep." I can't even say on the show what I said. And I said, "Well, it was nice talking to you," and I hung up. And I figured he's never going to call me back. And then a couple more times we had conversations. It's like, look, nobody blind draws anything. Nobody flies anybody out for free. Nobody lets them have a big gala. No one gives them money. So that's just bullshit. I said, you're going to want some money somewhere. You're going to want something somewhere. And then, you know, so, and then I was not so surprised. I was, you know, some other stuff that was going on. I was kind of worried about. But so John just finally told me, because he wanted to go on the network, he said, just come out. I'm going to send you a ticket. Just come out and take a look around. And I said, look, I said, I want unfeathered accents to everybody. Not feathered people. Yeah, same difference. But, and it's a coon-ass accent. Deal with it. It's, but anyway, you know, that's what I told him. And I came out and I talked to the judges first. And everything he told me, the judges verified. Then I talked to the winners. I wanted to see if there was any bullshit going on with them. Everything and I asked, you know, I asked all the winners. I waited till about the middle of the week before I started on the winners. And I started talking to them, and they all seemed to be happy and comfortable and having a good time and learning stuff. So then I said, you know what? It's time to start on the staff. And if anyone's going to be the giving point, it's going to be the staff. And I was hard on them. I'm not going to even lie to you. I asked them very pointed questions. They did not even hesitate to answer me. And I mean, it didn't matter who it was, what staff it was, where I was. When I asked, they stopped to make sure they answered my question, which they didn't have to do because you know how busy it is there.
It is manic there. They got so many plates spinning, and everyone was so welcoming, so friendly. It was just like being welcomed into a family. It was lovely.
Yeah, and see, to me now they are family. They've grown to be family for 6 years. It's they're just like an extension of my family now. So when I go, I already know. You know, that's why I decided. You know, I talked with them 2 years ago. So why don't we start bringing on the guests ahead of time? They can meet each other. They can meet us.
That was really nice.
And then you can meet the other people, and then you get a kind of feel, at least a little feel of what's going on. You know, we talk about the 24-hour story, which scares the shit out of everybody. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
You know, well, no, Karen, they have to write a 24-hour story. And the funny part is, I don't know the exact stat, but it's around 68% of the 24-hour stories sell. I mean, they've probably been, you know, cleaned up and sharpened up a little bit, but you know, well. I was surprised it was even more than 5%. Let's be honest. I mean, it's 24 hours. You just half of the people only wrote them in like 4 hours because their brain was fried from God knows what. So many of them told me I wrote it, I tore it up, I threw it away, I deleted it. I did it like that many times, and then at 4 a.m. I was writing because I had to be there at 8 with the story. See, at least they let y'all go to 2. This year they did it 2 to 2. A lot of times they did it 8 to 8 from 8 in the morning.
Today. Okay.
Yeah. So that put more stress because you're up at wee hours in the morning trying to figure it out. The other one, I think this way it was more relaxed.
Most of mine was written in the morning. I was working on it, and I thought, I got idea, and I didn't work. Idea didn't work. Idea didn't work. And then I wrote about 800 words, and I thought, this is a story I'm going to write. And I went to sleep for a couple of hours, like 3-4 hours. and then it's about nearly 4,800 words in total, but only 300 words from the night before I kept. So the rest of it, 4,500, was the last 3-4 hours. It was just steam coming off the keyboard, just
going away, baby.
typing away. Ignore spelling mistakes, send it in. Yeah,
it's good though. They prove a point by showing that y'all can do that. I mean, it's something, and it's one of the reasons I think they do it is because if you're working for companies, because sometimes writers got to get jobs with companies so they can support themselves to write novels. So when you're working with companies that have deadlines, you've got to be able to produce on a deadline, and well, no, Carolyn, it's like if you write for Netflix, they expect you to write a deadline. If you're writing for a TV series, they expect you have to have your writing in or rewrites or whatever. You only get X amount of time to do those. So that's something that you have to be able to do if you're going to be a successful writer. Unless you're just one of these writers that hit it off from the get-go and write novels that just take off, which is, like Wesley Dean Smith. He's just a prolific writer is what he is. Him and his wife, they've got, I've lost count how many books they've written. And of course he does it all though. He writes books. He owns his own publishing company. He does all the indie stuff. I mean, he's quite comfortable with what he does, and he's well knowledged in the business part of writing. So he's a wealth of information to talk to. It's a shame he didn't make it this year.
It was a shame, because they do go most years. But we had a good chat with Mark Leslie Lefavre and
yes.
Todd McCaffrey. They did a lot on the sort of business side, of marketing side, of a lot of the and Kevin Jansen as well. A lot of the workshops were quite useful in getting you from the mindset of you're writing a story, but also the business side of marketing, which you don't really think about, or I didn't think about anyway. I just wrote a story, and then all of a sudden, there's more. It's not just that. Hit send, but there's a lot more then. So it's it was the whole week is aimed at getting you to into the mindset of professional writer. Deadlines, a 24-hour story, marketing, the interviews like this with yourself, Joe. It's all this kind of stuff that
it's all stuff you got to know how to do. I mean, that's why I was talking with some of the other ones, and I was like, you got to be, if you're going to get out there and you want to be famous, you got to be willing to put your face out there and your voice, because people are going to want to know who you are. I tell people, and I do this for myself, but I tell people the same thing. Give them enough to intrigue them, but they don't need to know your whole entire life. That's, let them have their own little mysteries about you. Because people ask me a lot of times, well, how many kids you got and how long you've been married? Well, and I would tell them, but when I mention I've been married 43 years, that's it. 5 million questions come after that, and nothing to question to do with what we were actually talking about. And so I don't want it to become about me. I want it to stay about them. So I have to, so some topics I just leave out. So no, I like to travel. I am married. I got one grown kid, and that's about all I'll say about my personal life. And I'll talk about, maybe some of the stuff that's intriguing, like special forces services, just stuff that intrigues people. So they want to look me up. Well, in your case, you don't have to do that because you have the books. You can say, okay, well, or you can recommend stuff, which is just as good. I've seen some famous authors like Nick Pook. He's a 9 to 5 writer. He gets up at 9 on Monday and he works till 5, Monday through Friday. That's how he writes, and he's got about 160 books or so these days. And so that's just his way of writing. And he tells everybody the same thing. Well, if you want to know about me, just buy my books. But he will review other books and tell his followers, hey, look, you might want to check out this author. You might want to check out that author. And since he's a prolific writer, it gives the book some credibility to go read it. And he's turned me on to some pretty good books over the year. But he also knows that I like audiobooks. So,
well, the audiobook of Rise of the Future is brilliant. We had we had a chance to listen to that. It was as I said, Jim Meskimen narrated my story, and it's brilliant. It just gives something different to a story, I think.
It does.
A different interpretation, and it's like getting an illustration and then getting the audiobook. It's just.
Well, I've been trying to get him to release Mission Earth because Mission Earth itself is 10 books.
Yeah,
so I forgot how many hundreds of thousands of words it was, but it's 10 books, and it's a long story to listen to. I listened to it over a year and a piece of a year, not because I couldn't have just sat and listened to it at one time, but I listened to sometimes when I was driving to work or doing this or doing that, and then I would forget about it for a little while. and then I have to go back and kind of listen back a little bit before I could listen forward to make sure I was still on track with the story. And it's a lot of fun to listen to. It's got all kind of great sound effects in it, great voices. It's a great story. First book's a little slow, but mainly because it's character building. Typical stuff. But knowing that going in allows you to really sit back and enjoy it. And Jim, with Sultan Grease, Jim did a fabulous. This dude is the epitome of the crap of the planet, and not our planet, the planet he comes from. And it's just, he does it so well. You just want to hate and love this guy the entire story, he does a really good job. I kind of feel sorry for him a few times, like, God, he really that big of an idiot? You got to be kidding me, right? So they do a good job with it. But I enjoyed your story. I mean, I enjoyed everybody's stories this year, and like I was telling John, I mean, I enjoy every year's sets. It's just some years are better than other years, and some ways they put them together to me makes a difference when I'm reading, because I don't want to be like being jerked around. So I'll read 2 of these stories, and all of a sudden, you drop me into something that's completely opposite of whatever I've been reading for the last 2. That irritates me. That's what it does.
I don't know how. Do you know? Because I don't know how they arrange the
I don't either.
stories. There's no an art to it or a science to it or something, but they've done a great job with the order.
They do.
The stories are all really different, but they get a flow the way they've ordered it.
I don't know how they do it, because the stories are very different, and they manage to do it. So, and Malieve is really good at that kind of stuff. And even though I give her 5 tons of hell, every time I leave, she's probably putting a cross up or something. Thank God. Because I give her trouble. You can tell she's not used to dealing with somebody like me. And but she's, I used to give her shit because I said, all you do is take pictures. How do you get your job? She said, I do more than that. I said, I don't believe you. So I forgot who I asked, and they started listing all shit she did. I'm like, God, really? A lot of hats. I said, she does more than all y'all put together. So then I have to be nicer to her because she does so much. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of stuff to learn. I mean, I ask everybody, but did you have a personal judge you like to talk to the most this year? I mean, a lot of people do, a lot of people don't. It varies from different winners. And see, somebody asked me, I'd have to say it was Scott, because Scott's just a lot of fun to talk to. But as far as writers, actual authors, I mean, I don't know who y'all's favorite. It's a lot of fun to talk to.
Well, I perhaps the 2 I spoke to the most over the week were outside of class as well, was Tim Powers and Mark Leslie. So both, I mean, they're all really, really nice. Those 2, I think I spoke to the most outside. And
Tim's a great author, and Mark's really good at all the rest of it. So
it was just a full education on book industry, being a writer, everything. It was just
Kirby. Mark writes, but he also does. He's got a little small publishing company, and he's in Canada, so he's kind of nooked into what he can do.
He was involved with the Kobo as well, or might still be.
Yeah. I think he is. Yeah, because I think we were talking about it at lunch one of the days, because a couple times I caught up with him and had lunch. There's also stuff, y'all, like last year I was having lunch with Pat Henry, the guy who owns Dragon Con, and then we were having lunch with the guy who owns FanX and stuff. So you get to meet a lot of people that's just names. So, I was at Writers of the Future, I won this. I also got to meet this guy or that guy. When you're talking to a publisher, a lot of times they're like, oh, really? Well, how'd you get to know him? Matter of fact, just yesterday, I sent John a friend of mine who lives in Turkey. She's a translator. So if you ever got anybody in Turkey, here you go. Yeah, give them a call. You never know. Well, what were you saying? I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, man.
No, one of the other judges I spoke to a lot was Nina Creaky Hoffman, and she's the winner from the very first volume, and she's great. She did a really good exercise with us that really helped. You get plot points. You get a 20-sided dice, like a D&D dice, and you get story prompts, and you roll that, and it's a really great exercise. She was lovely as well. So yeah, it was. It's just nice to get to know people who you've read their stories over the years, and then they're people, and everyone was so welcoming. No one was like, "Oh, do you know who I am?" Everyone was just
Yeah, no, that's another thing.
Chat. It was just amazing, really.
The lack of ego amongst the judges is amazing.
It is crazy. Yeah.
I really thought it was going to be far, it was going to be far different than that, but it wasn't. I mean, they were just, they were just ready. I mean, they want to be there. It's amazing to me that, these are pretty famous judges. And I mean, the fact that they're willing to come sit there and listen to a bunch of startups says a lot about their personality. I mean, what's that? Oh, no. So there's some big names come there. Todd McCaffrey. No, Todd McCaffrey is Anne McCaffrey's son. Yes. So if you don't know who Anne McCaffrey is, look her up, but she's pretty famous. And her son, he's a pretty good author himself.
Yeah, he's a lot.
But he's moving back to your side of the world.
Yeah, he says he's moved to Ireland. Is that right?
Yeah, he's moving to Ireland. Yeah, that's what he said. He said he's going back home. And I said, well, be safe over there. She's like, what do you mean be safe? I said, be safe over here. I said, I got some friends over there. It's not the safest place on the planet, my friend. He's like, what? I'm like, hey, look, the world is a changing place these days.
He's just across the little sea, the Irish Sea for me then.
Yeah. The little crick, I like to call it. He don't like me calling it that. So it's bigger than a crick, Joe. So it's not much bigger, man. I mean, really and truly, it's the island, and you're just like a little piece of the island that broke off. That's not right. I said, I'm from there. I can say that. So get out of here. Oh, what's that, Danny? Oh no, I got a lot of friends in England. Yes, and in general, I should say in the United Kingdom would be a more accurate way of describing it. No. Well, because the Commonwealth, like India and Canada and places like that, I got a lot of friends there too. What do you mean? We're never going to make Canada a state. We'll make it a Commonwealth. We ain't going to make it a state though. So something for all of y'all to think about when you hear everybody picking on everybody around the world. The planet can't survive unless we become a one world government. And all I ever hear is how evil a one world government is. But guys, we'll never get into deep space. We'll never colonize. We'll never leave the solar system without becoming a one world government. You can't spend $4 trillion a year on military when you could be spending that on science and space exploration. Do you realize if we spent what we spent every year on science instead of military, cancer would have been cured decades ago. Matter of fact, a lot of things would have been cured decades ago. So we got to change. I just don't know how we're going to do it. Well, England says they want to rule, so America's not going to go for that. And then of course, China wants to rule. America's not going to go for that either. So, Canada can't rule, so we're not going to worry about them.
And that's why I write a fantasy to stay away from it.
Yeah, because there's no way of knowing. I mean, there's just no way. I mean, at current, without some kind of intervention at current levels, I just don't know how we can do it. But you never know. You never know when an author might come out and write something, or an illustrator might come out and draw something that changes the way people look at things. Because to be honest with you, there have been things I've read over the years that have definitely changed my point of view and the way I look at things, and definitely things I've written that have gave me a profound sense of change, knowing that the author is right for this, that, or whatever reason. So I have faith in people like y'all, and I'm a very big candidate. I shouldn't say candidate, but I'm a big advocate for helping people become literate. There's a lot of people read very well in the United States, but then there are a lot of people who can't. And then there's places like where I live in Mississippi, where a third of the state can't even read above a second grade level. So how do you plan on making it in the world when it's a necessary evil today? I said, we're moving away from voice and into chat text. I said, so you have to be at least able to speak so that your phone can do whatever it's got to do. I don't know, Christopher. Right now, it's not a possible. At the end of World War II, the United States could have probably done it because they had control of 80% of the planet there, but not now. No. And Europe wants to do it, but they can't even hold on to the EU. I mean, Britain left, and there's other countries talking about it. So I don't know. I don't know who. It's got to be some person that can come out and say, okay, look. And the world has to say, okay, we like them. Good luck on that. Maybe somebody out of England might be able, maybe somebody out of Europe. You never know.
Not out of Europe. Get invaded by aliens to bring everyone together.
Yeah, maybe so. And Well, that's what Ronald Reagan used to say. What would bring the planet together quickest was an alien invasion. He mentioned, he was weird. He mentioned that on 7 occasions and 7 different big speeches, no less. And he instituted Pine Gap, which is the joint British defense of outer space. So the United States and England got together and put a base down in Pine Gap in Australia, in Queensland, so that we can defend outer space, which means anything beyond the solar system. Okay, that's not asteroids. What the hell are we defending ourselves from? Then he instituted Star Wars and the Hawk facility in Alaska. The Hawk facility punches holes in the ionosphere and then bounces them back to the facility in Pine Gap, which stores the energy or releases the energy back. They say it's a giant laser system. So, and they both exist. We know they both exist because we've charted them, pictured them. So maybe he knew something we didn't. I mean, he was sure acting like he knew something we didn't. I don't know, people. Look, you got to go read what he said. You got to go read what the astronaut said. 6 different astronauts said they were warned off the moon. The one that's freaked me out the most. So just recently we covered this story. We had put it on the news on the flip side. So one of the astronauts, while they were in the spaceship, heard on the outside the spaceship. Not once, people, but for hours on end, somebody was knocking. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm leaving. I'd already called NASA. Guess what? We're leaving, bud. I'm out of here. Watch how this lifter takes off. We're out of here. But you had Neil Armstrong said that there was something on the moon twice, and then he gave a speech about we were told not to come back. But when Neil Armstrong gave the speech, what people took was they said don't come back to the moon. That's not actually what he said. He said don't come back to where they were, where they landed. There was some type of base where they landed. Well, a lot of people thought it was the Nazis. They said the Nazis built a base up there. Hell if I know what it was. All I know is the first man to land on the moon said there was something up there. And what bothers me about this is when astronauts tell you they found ET and you tell them, no, you didn't, because let's not forget, they're trained to do what? Find ET. And when they tell you find them, you're like, no, you didn't. So to date, over 18 astronauts in the Apollo, Mercury, and Gemini programs said that they had had some type of contact, and more than 42 in the space shuttle program said the same thing. What you want me to tell y'all, guys? I mean, you actually can hear the astronauts in the Apollo missions talking about stuff shadowing them, stuff falling around on the moon. You can actually hear it in their own words. As far as I know, there's nothing on the moon. It's supposed to be dead. So I don't know. It's stuff kind of like that worries me. And then our governments, and not just our government, all governments are like, well, so what? Who cares? We'll send them all to live in England when they come. We got to get out of here. You've been great, Joel. Anything you want to tell these crazies before we leave? And find
just if you've enjoyed what we've been talking about, if you want to go buy the book, by Writers of the Future, Volume 41. It's out now in the US and Canada. It'll be out in 18th of June in the UK and the rest of the world. My story is Ascent to Freedom. I hope you like it.
Yes, it's a good story. Y'all should go check it out.
If
you buy it in Galaxy Quest, say Joel sent you.
Yeah.
Don't use my name. Use Joel's name. You'll be better off. Don't use my name.
Add the L on.
That's right. Say Joel sent you. Well, no, it's good for people to get credit for these things, but really go buy the book. You'll really enjoy the book. The artwork is great. The book is great. I think there's an extra story, maybe 2 this year.
Yeah, there's Sean Williams. There's one. Inspired by the cover art, which is really amazing as well. Craig Elliott did the cover art, and there's a Tim Powers story in there as well.
So, that's right. I forgot about Tim Powers story.
Yeah.
So you get 14 stories this year.
Oh, and the Tough Old Man.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. For the radio show. So you get 15 stories this year.
Get advice from Rob Sawyer as well.
So you get a lot of extra stuff. You can go see it right there. And no, this one will get given away at Christmas time, like I always do. What do you need? Here before we go. Let me see. So here on this will be the easiest way to do it. So if you look on the pictures at the bottom, you will see the artist's name. See them down there, all cute. And also for the authors on their author page, I believe, is where they signed. I believe, I could be wrong. Somewhere in there they signed. I know that. What was there when they signed them, doofus? I usually work the tables when they're signing the books. And this year they did a lot less, man.
It's something like 210, was it, or something? I think.
Yeah, last time it was like 500. They kept saying, it was like 400. I think.
Wow. Goodness.
Yeah, I think it was closer to 500.
200 was a lot.
And then you got Echo and Time who signed like machines, man. Echo's like, next thing you know, she's got books piled up. I mean, I'm like, damn, Echo. She does. She signs it. So before we go, I mean, I know we got to get out here, but I remember when he said everybody needs to come up with a new signature. Did you ever think about that before you were signing stuff?
I did. Someone said that, so I practiced it. So I did. It's not a legal signature. It's just my author signature.
Yeah. So
I did. I had a
so
special
no, Jack. Yeah, they said to develop. Well, they said don't use your check writing signature for your author signature.
People said that over the years, that as they're about to sign, people would say, the judge would say, make sure it's not your legal signature. And then a number of people would think, oh, I don't know what to write. I don't know how to sign it. I don't sign my name.
Yes, I know.
So I didn't want to be that person.
It's no, they tell them that so no one, because their signatures are going to be everywhere. They don't want them to be able to go sign, get in their checking account or something. It's just an extra level of precaution in the world of craziness. Ooh, excuse me. That we live in today. But we got to let Joel go. It's midnight where he's at. It's actually after midnight where he's at. I still got to get on and host another 3 hours on the chat, which is going to be out of well, we'll just say it's out of control and leave it at that. No, Maria, there is no holds barred on that show. There's no language barriers. There's no holds barred. It's audience driven show. They pick the topics, so God knows what we'll be talking about. Oh no. I don't even want to think about it sometimes. And some of the language and some of the dumb stuff that gets said is beyond me, but it's popular. And I don't know why it's as popular as I wouldn't watch a damn thing. And people are crazy on that show. It's I'm the anchor host, Jesse, just like I am here. Yeah. Actually, on all 5 shows I host, I'm the anchor host. Yeah. But I always had multiple hosts with me. That way I can be lazy. And say, did he really say that? That stupid idiot. Yeah, well, just kidding. But we got to go. Joel, thanks for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate it. Guys, get out there, buy book 41. Make Joel famous and rich. Pay attention when he gets new books out there. No, I want to see him walking in Hollywood or wherever. I mean, Hollywood, it's not even Hollywood anymore. It's more like Atlanta now. But I want to see him out there on the red carpet, with his new book and his new movie out there going, look what I got, baby. And no, he's married. You just heard a man say he was married with 15 kids, no less. I mean, you want a man with 15 kids? God help you is all I can say. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding about him being married. I'm kidding about the 15 kids. Anyway, we got to go, people. Stop. On that note, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Authors Quill and United Public Radio. John will be back with me next week. There are a couple of Saturdays I'm off. Like this Saturday, I was supposed to be in New York, but it was being canceled for a couple of weeks. Last week, I was in D.C. I'll be in Chicago in a couple of weeks. I'll be in Austin, St. Louis, New Orleans, Baltimore, and I already said New York, somewhere else. I'm forgetting somebody. Austin. And so I'll be hanging out in all those places. Some will be about politics, some will be about aliens, and it'll always be something included about Writers of the Future, because whatever lecture set I'm doing, it doesn't matter. At the end of every show, I do a 45 to an hour minute Q&A. Someone always asks me about Writers of the Future, always. Yeah, so I always give them a little spew about how John and I met and why you should join. Well, Tulane was, I went to Tulane and LSU to English lit classes. I was doing lectures on politics. And then it ended up being lectures on Writers of the Future is what it ended up being. That's what people wanted to know. They really want to know. But anyway, we got to go, guys and girls. Again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and the Authors Quill. Until next Saturday, have some fun. Enjoy yourself, unless you're joining us in the chat. And I will see y'all in about a half an hour. I'm sure Jay will open up first, but I'll be there cutting up and causing trouble. And I don't know, just being generally bad. Good night, everybody.